All right, hey everyone, welcome to the next episode of 7 Minutes Scaling Secrets, where we interview entrepreneurs and learn a secret on how they scale up their businesses. Today, our special guest is Solomon Poon, who is an entrepreneur in the D2C space, specializing in a very interesting nutritional product. Solomon, welcome. And please tell the audience a little bit about yourself and what your business is all about. This episode was brought to you by Superscaling. Join the foundation program today and learn how you can systemize and superscale your business so that you can get $100,000 a month at least, with a productive team from all over the world, raving fans as clients, and happy founders who have true freedom. Visit superscaling.com/foundation today. And now, back to the episode.
Hi, Alvin. Hi, guys. My name's Solomon, and I'm in charge of a company called Drink8. So we are a company that specializes in reducing the side effects of alcohol using a health supplement which you take before and after you drink when you go out at night. So basically, it works by breaking down the root cause of alcohol, which is the compound acetaldehyde, right, which causes the flushing, which causes the hangovers, and the nausea, things like that. So we started in 2020. We were incubated in SMU before that for about 6 months to 8 months. Then we launched in August 2020. We broke even within 7 days. And I think the rest is history. We've been doing quite well, except for the period where Singapore was in a lockdown because, very few people could go out to drink during that time.
Got it. Man, I know you for a while. I love the fact that you're very, very specialized in nutrition. I think your own personal history is all about nutrition as well. We don't have enough time to cover that, otherwise we will. But man, your introduction is all about like the fancy terminology that is involved in like the human bio and all the effects that it has. But essentially what you're saying is that Drink8 will reduce our Asian flush, it will prevent hangovers, and will it also maybe reduce the effects of alcohol?
Yeah, actually, for some people, that's a good thing because they increase their tolerance to alcohol and they get less intoxicated for the same amount that they drink. Although we don't actively advertise this, otherwise the government will be all over us. But I think this is something that most people buy Drink8 for as well.
Cool. Just a very quick question, like, how do you even get started on this? Like, did you grow up wanting to create a alcohol enhancement supplement?
Right. This is a bit of a longer story, Alvin, because I think I grew up ever since I was in secondary school. I wanted to have an edge over all my friends. I was usually the guy who wanted to beat all my friends at pull-ups, running, stuff like that. So initially I got there naturally, right? Like just by training. Then in JC, I realized that a lot of my friends like naturally gifted, and because there was a selection bias where a lot of the elite runners were already in the CCH and compete with them. So I had to find extra ways to be better than them. So that was when I started taking supplements. And for example, protein powder, creatine. The very first supplement I ever took in my life was a very shit product called Hemo Rush.
Wow.
It tasted like crap, but it worked, okay? It increased my endurance, my exercise. So it's quite good. And that was the moment where I realized that supplements could really help in our performance in our daily lives. So that was in the physical realm. When I went to university, that was when I started learning about supplements for cognitive purposes, for focus, for studying, for presentations and interviews. And before long, I started experimenting with supplements, to hormones, to peptides, all different kinds of things, injecting myself, rubbing creams all over myself to figure out the effects they have on the human biology, right? Ultimately, so that we can improve ourselves in all ways that we need, whenever we need them. So I think Drink8 was just an extension of what I was able to accomplish after 10 plus years of experimentation and reading studies and knowing how to interpret them.
How many studies have you read? Do you even know?
Oh, I have no idea. Maybe like hundreds.
Wow.
But I believe in, like, when you want to get information for health stuff, right, it's very important to read from the primary source itself, which is the NCBI studies, the PubMed studies on Google, instead of reading articles that were compiled by, healthline.com or something like that. That's very important, I feel.
Okay, because the accuracy,
the accuracy, and you're able to see the data by itself. to make your own interpretations.
Wow.
That's very important.
Yeah, the thing I like about you is that you're very data driven, that the stuff that you do, they're all backed by science, they are backed by studies, right? And then you draw your own conclusions and you created a business from that. So that's awesome. And that's something that we're going to talk about today, which is like the fact that your business actually broke even in 7 days.
Yeah.
That is incredible. Walk us a little through that. How did that happen? Was there a prep period before? How did it all fall into place?
Right, I think there are several factors because, as I told you just now, we were incubated by SMU for about 6 to 8 months. So there was we had already been telling our inner circle and to some extent the outer circle that we have been working on this for quite a long time already. So all of them were quite excited about our launch because we told them about our launch. We invited them to come down. We gave everybody samples during the actual thing. And on the actual launch itself, there was a big turnout at SMU. And thereafter, we already had influencer friends and friends of friends who would help to spread the message on Instagram, on Facebook. So I think the initial breakthrough was our inner circle, and basically friends of friends who were able to advertise for us. It wasn't even like an Instagram post, Sometimes it was just a simple Instagram story, tag us, share with their friends. So I think initially, we got about we sank in $5,000 for the R&D, and we recouped all of that within the first 7 days, which was quite encouraging.
Nice. Yeah. You had to have a manufacturer for this, I suppose.
Yes, we did.
And then inventory that you had ordered and like was waiting at a warehouse somewhere. And
yeah. There were some crazy times.
Oh man. Yeah, I really like fully respect product-based businesses, especially stuff that you need to manufacture and hold inventory, because that's a space that has cost, cash flow, and all the other stuff that you need to manage on top of your sales and your marketing.
Right. Yeah, I want to say that another factor that allowed us to break even easily was because we kept costs very low initially. I think a lot of businesses fall into the trap of spending a lot of money at the outset, even before the product is being sold. I think that's okay if, let's say, you have VC funding or if you are very confident about your product. But for us, we were a brand new product in the market, right? And there was never another product like us before we came out. So we had to be very prudent with our spending. For example, we started on WooCommerce, right, where it literally cost $0 to create a website. We designed everything ourselves. The only money we spent, right, was $50 to pay for Elementor Pro.
Oh, wow.
To design the website. Like everything else, right, we just did everything from scratch. Even the R&D, even the website. Yeah.
Even the R&D, you did the R&D.
Yeah. So basically the R&D, right? This is my trade secret, but for your followers, I can share a little bit, which is that I can literally create a supplement formula, right, with a few $1,000s. You don't even need, tens of thousands of dollars. Maybe like $2,000 would be enough. If let's say you have a supplement with like five to 10 ingredients, by procuring small amounts of the ingredients and just getting them all in one place in, let's say, 100 grams each, and just testing them in the different permutations every day. So that's what I did basically.
Oh wow, I love the bootstrap, the scrappy format, because that's literally, I believe that's the way people should start their businesses, right? The MVP way, the minimum viable product, doing it in a super lean fashion before you even like start thinking about the fancy stuff and spending on things that don't matter. So I really like that.
Awesome.
Yeah, this is the direct to consumer space, right?
Yeah.
You are in, there are no middlemen, there's no like distributors, not yet at least, I think. What do you recommend to other people that are in the D2C space that want to have the same kind of success that you have? Like how you mentioned one, which is basically to warm up your audience, to get a pre-qualified, pre-interested list of people before your launch, right? So your launch actually has some measure of success. Are there any other things or aspects that you can attribute to the success that you've had as a D2C brand in the e-commerce space?
Absolutely, Alvin. I'll tell you something that none of the e-commerce gurus will tell you. All right. It's something that none of them have ever taught us, which is that you have to have a product which is unique enough, which is newsworthy enough to be covered by the media. And you have to do whatever it takes to be covered by the media. Okay, this is very important. We believe this is very important because we believe that a new product in the market, right, what it doesn't have, right, is credibility. All right.
Right.
And the only way you can get credibility is not by doing ads, because ads just tooting your own horn, right? When you have zero credibility, it doesn't improve your credibility. Whereas getting a third party to say that you are good, right, gives you all the credibility that you need. So you can do this by two ways, right? One is by, for example, social media influencers. But sometimes these influencers may not be super credible people.
Right.
But they are not the most credible people. Maybe they help with some social proof, but they are not the best. The best kind of social proof you can get is news coverage. So this is exactly what we did. Some tactical advice is that we initially engaged a PR service called pressoffice.direct. So they are a service that helps you curate your news to forward it to all the relevant news outlets that you think is relevant. And you can forward to lifestyle magazines, you can forward to blogs, you can even sort by countries like Singapore, Hong Kong, Taiwan, these kind of things. Yeah, so this is exactly what we did initially. There was a partnership between Press Office and SMU, so that was quite lucky for us. Otherwise, we have to pay $100, which is quite a lot initially, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we got our very first shout out on Night 7 FM, and followed by that Mothership. So I think that was the thing that started everything rolling, which culminated in Vulcan Post, Straits Times, and even some publications in the US. So I would say that this was the big break that we had after the first 1 to 2 months.
Wow. And
that made all the difference.
And how do you actually get these coverage? Like, is that something that you were pitching to the outlets yourself? Or?
Yeah. So basically, you have to write press releases by yourself, right? And there's an art to writing press releases also, right? It has to be in point format. Press loves to cover all the things that the juicy info, for example, the statistics, the story, the founder's story, and the results of testing, and things that basically they can report to the public in an exciting way.
Nice. And just to be clear, the point that you used in your outreach was basically that Drink 8 was the first of its kind.
Yes.
In this space.
In fact, for your followers, I can create a link to the exact press release we did. I'll send it to you. You can share it with them.
Yeah, I think that would be great, because I think people want to know like the secret sauce and how people have done it before. A lot of times everybody wants PR, right? Press release and news and coverage like that. But the question is how, right? Yeah. And I think developing that newsworthy angle is something that everybody desires to have.
Yeah. I would say that having an exciting and novel product in some way, maybe it could be like a reinvention of an existing product with a new angle to it. I think that is the key to getting a foot in the door with these media outlets.
How do you reinvent a new a product in a new
right
way?
For example, Drink 8, right? It's not a completely original idea, right? Because there are hangover remedies elsewhere in the world, right? For example, in Korea, maybe in Singapore, I think before we launched, right, there was a company that launched for like 2 to 3 years and then they shut down because they weren't successful. But they were a drink, right? They were a drink that reduces hangover. But our angle was that we are focused towards Asians and the Asian flush. Right, which is the target market, and the very first time this angle has ever been explored.
Yeah, I suffer from Asian flush as well. I remember when I drink, basically when I drink, I get red, right? So that's Asian flush, and I know my Caucasian friends, they tend not to have that. So the first time I was drinking with them, I became red. The first time they saw me being red, and they were worried that I was like ill, or I suffered from like some allergy or something, but it was just the Asian flush. And while it's perfectly fine and safe, it just makes me feel uncomfortable. So Drink 8 definitely is something that I would get and I would use just because of the Asian flush effects that it has.
Yeah. It definitely caused me a lot of embarrassment at a lot of professional events. So having this product was actually for myself, actually, I think primarily founders need to have a personal attachment to their product, right? If you're not going to use your own product, then who's going to use it? You can't feel why people need it, and if you can't feel why people need it, you're unable to communicate it in a way where it's attractive to them.
Yes, completely agree. That's one of the 4 P's that I always mention about starting a business, right? First, you need to have a passion, then you have a purpose, then you know what the pain points are, and then you have to have the proficiencies. So these are the 4 P's that you absolutely embodied with Drink It, right? You have the passion for it, the purpose is there, you have the proficiency because you're so into the space of nutrition and science. And what I miss, the pain point, of course, the pain point of the customer, because you know it yourself. In Vodian, when we started Vodian, my co-founder and I, we knew firsthand the pain points of the industry because, like you, we were customers of the industry ourselves, right? And we knew what the pain points were. And I think this is something that a lot of businesses need to understand. And that's how they really differentiate themselves from everyone else.
Awesome.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. So congrats on that launch. Congrats on the business so far. COVID is lifting, so I'm sure Drink 8 is going to be doing really well, especially with all the celebrating and all the drinking that's going to be happening. Is there anything else that you like to share with the audience?
Regarding e-commerce as a whole?
Yeah,
I think nowadays the e-commerce industry is quite saturated, especially in the US, because a lot of people are just creating existing OEM products and just wrapping them in their own brands. I would say that if you want to create your own product, put your own unique spin on your product. Don't make it just another one of those copies where you slap your brand over. Make it truly solve a problem that has not been covered before, or at least, create a fresh angle for it that people don't normally think about. Otherwise, you just become another one of those stale companies that just do the same things over and over again. And it's really quite difficult to succeed at creating a product which is OEM nowadays because you can't differentiate yourself, right? If you guys read Peter Thiel's book, 0 to 1, right? One of the biggest competitive advantages you can build is proprietary technology. Build something that is simply better, right? He has four pillars of competitive advantage, and branding is the last one of them when you can't do the other 3. Right? So look at the first 3 first. One of them is economies of scale, which is you have to buy in bulk, right? But the first one, the most important one, he says, is proprietary technology. Absolutely. So in our case, is the formula that is the only one in the world that reduces Asian flush.
Absolutely, man. And again, this comes with proficiency. So I love that. Be different. Make sure that you have a different angle. You have that proprietary information or technology that differentiates you from your competitors. That's the key to have a sustainable long-term business. Awesome. Thanks so much, Solomon, for sharing all that information. How best can people reach out to you?
Right. They can email me at solomon@drink8.co. They can follow me at Solo the Sensei. Or even more importantly, follow Drink8 at drink8.co on Instagram. Yeah.
Nice.
My emails are open anytime. If you guys have got any questions, you can email them straight to me.
Cool. Drink8.co. I'll leave all the relevant links in the description. Thanks so much, Solomon. Thanks so much, everyone, for listening. And I hope you guys got great takeaways from this episode. Once again, this is the 7-Minute Scaling Secrets podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe to be notified of any new episodes that we'll have. Thank you, everybody, and please have a nice day.